Hi everyone, I'm Chyill and welcome back to another Battlerite video. Today's video is my Ruh Kaan gameplay guide, and it is partly a follow-up to my Ruh Kaan guide that I posted up like months ago, I think. A viewer suggested to me to do a Ruh Kaan one next in my Ivar guide video a week or so ago, and so here it is. And in this video, I'll try to commentate while I play as Ruh Kaan for about 2 games or so, to sort of give you an idea of my thought process when I play with Ruh Kaan. Once again, I'd like to reiterate that I'm not a very high level player, and so my game sense and mechanics aren't exactly the greatest, but even so, I think doing such a video should be quite helpful since beginner players can learn from this and better players can tell me what I'm doing wrong as well. So yeah, with all that being said, let's just get straight into the games. Okay, first game, and it seems like we're in this map. Again, I don't remember the map names, but this is the arena or something like that. But I just wanted to see like where are the walls, and are there like a lot of walls and stuff like that. And so evidently this map, it's okay. It's not a crazy amount of walls, and as playing as Ruh Kaan, you don't really have to take into too much consideration of the walls, because you don't really have a lot of abilities that interact with walls. Maybe as a Shifu you might need, as what my teammate is playing, but as a Ruh Kaan, maybe not so much. Again, the enemy has Varesh and a Jade, so again, not too much to consider. So yeah, don't have to worry too much about the walls. Anyway, in the first tier of Battlerites, I typically take the silence one. Like generally, most of the time I just take the silence because it's just really good. It disrupts the enemy, and it just stops them from being able to run away for at least one more hit. So usually that's pretty good. Otherwise, I would usually take, if I don't take the silence, I would usually take Demonic Hunt. So that gives me like a second space jump, which is quite useful when the enemies are like quite mobile and stuff. Varesh and Jade aren't as mobile to me, so I think I'll probably take the silence. And not only is it good for like chasing down like the Demonic Hunt Battlerite, but it's also good that you can survive more since you have 2 iframes basically. So yeah, to start off, I usually try to poke from afar with my mouse too. Them being ranged enemies means that they're going to try to attack me from afar anyways, so I'll just try to do whatever I can from afar before I actually go in. Oh, so usually I try to hook them in and try to do some sort of a combo, which I will show to you guys soon when I get back my charge attack. So typically you don't want to miss a charge attack, and the combo is to hook, silence, well, charge attack, space, and oh, I didn't mean to hit that. Yeah, so that's like the typical combo that I try to do. So again, I have my cooldowns ready, and just start hitting them while they're cursed, because you do extra damage. So at this point, I'm just gonna ult and finish the game off if I can. Somewhere around here. I'm surprised that she's not there. I tried to do a little blind hook over there. Okay, so my Shifu sort of finished them off. So yeah, if you watched my Ruh Kaan guide before that I posted up, like seriously like way back, and don't mind my nose, it's a little bit uncomfortable right now, but yeah, so if you watched my Ruh Kaan guide before, you know that typically as a Ruh Kaan, your game plan is just to poke from afar with your mouse too, and then try to execute the combo, hook them in, give them a charge attack, jump onto them with spacebar, and just continue hitting them. And that's a pretty damaging combo really. And the reason for this is that Ruh Kaan's normal mouse 1 attack doesn't do a lot of damage unless the enemy is cursed. And so you want to be doing a lot more burst damage with his charge attack instead, and his hook and all that sort of stuff, instead of like trying to just brawl it out like you would as a Raygun, for example. So yeah, in this second round, I will probably take the Death Grip, since when I land the hook, it'll make me it'll make me be able to hook someone again very quickly. So it's helpful when they are both ranged, because they will probably be quite a distance away from me most of the time. So let me just try to poke them while I can. So I missed that hook because it's just a little bit too far. Just trying to do what I can. When I can hook them. Oh, I meant to cancel that, but I cancelled it a bit too slowly. Okay. Yeah, let's just make things more intense right now, shall we? Let's just go in. So usually you try to refresh your charge attack if possible with your Q. So if you didn't know, you can absorb an attack with your Q, which she didn't attack me, but she's gonna die now anyways. And you can refresh your charge attack that way. Typically it will take like 8 seconds, but if you use your Q and you absorb an attack, doesn't matter whether it's a ranged projectile attack or it's a melee attack, then you refresh your charge attack immediately. So one thing you can do is wait, before that I'll just quickly take the root because I have the reduced E cooldown in the previous round, so this synergizes with it pretty well. So part of the combo was you hook, you charge attack, use spacebar, and then you continue hitting, right? So if you expect them to retaliate, you can use your Q, and then you can use the charge attack on them again if you absorb an attack. So let's try that, shall we? So if he hits me, then I can charge attack again. So obviously this Varesh isn't the best of players, right? Like he's obviously panicking when I go onto him. So you know, I think it can't be helped that I think it's a free week right now, so we're getting a lot of beginner players in the casual matches, unfortunately. So maybe we should move on to ranked. So yeah, GG. So yeah, that first round was pretty quick, but at least I managed to explain like what I sort of think about when I play Ruh Kaan. Like, okay, I'll be trying to poke from afar at the start. I'll try to find opportunities to hook in and do my combo, and so that's what I'm sort of looking for as Ruh Kaan. I'll probably try to jump into some ranked matches right now, and hopefully that'll be like some harder games maybe. Okay, round 2. I missed the starting bit where we looked at the map, but from the starting area I know that this map has lots of walls, and luckily for us the enemy team is a Rook and a Paloma, which doesn't really interact much with walls, so we don't have to worry about that. Of course our teammate is still Shifu, and so he'll enjoy this map a bit more since he can hook onto walls with his E and jump around that way. So considering that it's a Rook and a Paloma, I will still probably take Wicked Strike. Typically I need to take the Demonic Hunt when I'm against 2 melees or like against mobile champions, as I mentioned earlier. So but since it is 1 melee and 1 support, I'll probably take the Silence. The middle Battlerite isn't really that useful, so I almost never pick it, but most of the time will be Wicked Strike, like 90% of the time. So again, at the start, try to poke. Just want to bait out his counter and see maybe if he's not baited at all. Whoops, I messed that up. Okay, I got that charge attack. Okay, use his counter, so I know I can go onto him freely for a few seconds, but instead I'll go on the Paloma first because she was sort of exposed. And being that we don't have a support in our team instead, it makes sense to try to go for the support first, since we definitely wouldn't last in a long fight against the enemy, because they can out-heal us, they can out-sustain us and all of that. Unfortunately, even in the ranked matches, we are not getting paired up with better players. So I'm not too sure how that would work. But anyway, it is still good enough for me to explain some of the Battlerite and some of the decision making that goes into some of these Battlerite choices. So in this case, because we are 2 melees and the enemy team has 1 melee and 1 support, assuming that both sides have equal skill, I would probably pick Leech Blade, because if they are playing very defensively, we will lose out in the long run. And I don't really need the reduction in E cooldown as much, because my charge attack doesn't cooldown as fast anyways, unless of course I get a get them to hit my Q. So the extra health gain you get back from your charge attack is more useful if you don't have a support champion in your team. So yeah, in the previous round, you know, we had 2 DPS versus 2 DPS, but now it's against 1 support. So I typically take the heal just for the extra bit of sustain. So again, okay, so that silence is just really good for being able to disrupt the enemy. So as you can see, my teammate in-capped the Poloma there. So immediately I took the opportunity to punish her, use my mouse tool on a stationary target and hook her in for some damage. Hook her in and do the combo basically for the burst damage. So yeah, I feel a little bad for the enemy team because they are evidently quite new, but I hope we will just make a quick one of this game, and hopefully the next round we get slightly more experienced players. So anyway, in this third round, I'm most inclined to get the root for E, because even though you don't have the second round E Battlerite which reduces the cooldown of your E, the root is still very useful, since you can sort of guarantee that you will hit your charge attack onto the enemy unless they sort of jump away or something like that. So that's pretty useful. Nether Chains is pretty good if you took the Battlerite that lets you jump twice in the first round. Otherwise, it's okay because you typically inflict curse onto enemies with your charge attack or R anyways. So most of the time I'll still pick Death's Embrace. The first Battlerite is more useful for when they have very fast attacking champions like Jade and Asmo. So then you can really reduce the cooldown of your Q. But outside of that, it's not really that useful, since you can't really consistently get people to attack into your Q more than once most of the time. So anyways, I'm just gonna jump in here right now and try to do some damage. Oops, I missed my E. So just sort of try to poke from afar while waiting for my cooldowns. He didn't fall for it this time. Never mind. I know their Poloma is almost dead, so let's just finish her. And grab him in with my ultimate and finish. GG. So since 2 rounds was really quickly this time, just went by really quickly, let's do a third, and hopefully we get a more experienced team. Okay, third match, and it's this arena map again. And let's see. Okay, it seems like we've got an Older and a Shifu in the enemy team and a Jade as our teammate. So having an Older in the enemy team means there's 1 support and 1 melee. So silence it is, for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. You know, you want to be able to disrupt enemies, and you don't really need your double space bar to catch up to people or like to avoid stuff mostly, I guess. So yeah, again from the start we'll try to poke, and I missed my poke, but I'm gonna try to do what I can to the Shifu after hooking him in. Okay, I want to try to pressure this Older a little bit because and so I'll do that combo because I can. Take the orb for myself. Whoops, I missed that. Again, poke from afar while waiting for my charge attack cooldown. Oh wow. Oh no, my teammate died. So I know their Shifu is almost dead, and in a 1 versus 2 situation, you will want to try to take care of the weak opponent first. So unfortunately I managed, oh, that is bad, but I have my ultimate thankfully, so that sort of made me a little lucky. I used my spacebar there to avoid his stun, and I see that it's 28 damage. I know that I can take that with 1 hit with my mouse too. So I take that and just sort of look for opportunities to unleash my combo. I'm not sure why he decided to attack into my Q there, but So be it. I think he's kind of new, but oh, I missed that, and I missed that, and I missed that. Alright, I need to be more attentive with cancelling my abilities, of course. So I'm just waiting for him to sort of bring that down a little bit. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. Like, I know he can do that. And let's just finish this off, and there we go. So yeah. So in 1 versus 2 situations, you don't really have to panic as well. Of course, I shouldn't let the Shifu stay alive for too long, since he can run around getting his health orbs. He can let Odor heal him up and stuff. So when in a 1 versus 2 situation, if you know that an enemy is really low, you should commit as much as you can to bringing down one first, because the longer you leave them both up, the more disadvantaged you'll be. So yeah. Something to really bear in mind, like 1 versus 2 is not unwinnable, so you can still win, assuming you've got enough health and you play exceptionally well. Of course, in this case, like, the enemies aren't really good, so I knew I was going to win anyways. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it's just from the way they play, you can sort of get a feel of how well you do, and so I knew I was going to be able to finish the Shifu off. His ultimate caught me off guard for a little bit, but luckily I had my ultimate with me, and so I could turn the tides just like that. So yeah, anyways, against 1 support, so I'll take the heal for more sustain. Reply my teammate a little bit. Okay, again, poke from the far, and I completely missed that. Okay, just sort of try to find chances and openings basically, and I try to poke with my mouse too, which I failed again. Yeah, I need to help I think it seems I need to help my teammate out a little bit. She's having troubles surviving. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the orb. I was just a little bit too slow. But Odo is a bit out of position. Tried to hook him in, but I couldn't. Let's go for him. I feel like I shouldn't leave him up for too long. Oops. Okay, let's just retaliate with my ultimate. Again, do the combo, which I can't because I have my space bar on cooldown. But my Jade is really low, and so something you can do as Ruh Kaan is to shift E, which she jumped away from, because I wanted to heal her, honestly. I'm gonna try to block for her, and so I'll just get in the way of the Shifu. I know I'm not trying to kill him right now, but just, you can heal with the shift E. So of course, when you're in a 2v1 situation, of course you don't want to give up your chances of victory, and so typically you try to stay in the middle and control the center orb, and don't let the lone enemy get the central orb, because the best way for them to sort of claw their way back into the game is to get the central orb. So that's another tip for when you're playing 1 versus 2 as well, is that you will want to try to save your most damaging burst ability to try to get the orb for yourself, because that's your best chance of winning. Not only are you denying energy from your enemies, and of course health, which already you're 1 versus 2, you are already behind, so you don't want to let them have it and you get it for yourself. So that's just some of the things to keep in mind when you're playing 1 versus 2. Playing as Ruh Kaan, most of my 1 versus 2, like successful 1 versus 2s are playing with Ruh Kaan, so these are just some of my tips for when you're behind in the game, I suppose. So yeah, and once again in this round I will pick the root, just because it's just really helpful as a melee champion to have your opponents not move around so much. So yeah, again I will okay. Okay, I want to get away from them because I don't want to be separated from my teammate for too long. Let me help her out a bit. Yeah, it's the silence. So disruptive, you know. Like you can tell like he was trying to do something, but you just hit a charge attack on them and they get silenced. Oops. Oh, I thought he was going to try to stun me or something. There we go. Easy peasy. So yeah, certainly more competent enemies than the last 2 rounds, but nevertheless we still win. And I'm quite thankful as well, since I could give you guys some tips on like 1 versus 2s and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope in general those 3 rounds were quite useful for you. Unfortunately, like at the time of recording, I didn't get any at least like I think platinum or diamond and above players, perhaps masters or even grandmasters. But what am I saying? Grandmaster. I mean, master, champion, and grand champions. But nevertheless, these rounds actually gave me the opportunity to sort of share like sort of some information and my thoughts on how to play Ruh Kaan, and sort of what I try to do in rounds as well, even in 1 versus 2 situations and 2 versus 1 situations as well. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends and all that sort of stuff. Check out my other videos as well. My Ruh Kaan guide is still kinda relevant, like it's not entirely out of date. So you can check that out as well if you want. And so yeah, until next time guys, have a great day, keep gaming, stay chill, and I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Bye bye.